the middle of a test, I heard one of my students whisper, "Don't freak out, look in my backpack." I instantly looked up, but weirdly nobody else in the class seemed to hear him. They must have been too focused on their tests. He was just looking at the kid next to him holding his backpack, and I instantly thought they were cheating. I was just about to stand up and take both of their tests away, but just before I did, I hesitated. I remembered exactly who I was dealing with. This kid had been in my classroom all year and was infamous for harassing the girls, and they'd usually end up slapping him in the face, one of them being my daughter. I was lucky enough to teach her that year, so she was sitting right in behind him, but she rejected him a few days ago when he tried a pickup line on her. I instantly thought it might be something bad, and not even 10 seconds later I could see him pull out something that was metal and black, and when I looked a little closer, I saw something that looked very much like a gun. I instantly looked back down at my desk, trying to convince myself I was just hallucinating or something, but when I looked up a second time, he was smiling. I knew I had to get a better look, so I stood up and pretended to go help one of my students in the front row, but in that 1 second I was standing up, I saw it more clearly. It was definitely what I thought it was. It was a handgun. I started sweating immediately. My hands were shaking as I sat back down, and all I could think about was how this kid was holding a gun 4 feet away from my daughter. I was so nervous I felt like I was going to cry, and I pulled out my phone and watched drops of sweat hit my desk. I was about to dial 911, but it was way too quiet in that room to say anything. If I whispered even a single word, he could hear me and start shooting. But I couldn't just leave the room. I had to keep my students safe, so I did the only thing I could think of and texted the assistant principal in caps everything I had just seen. This kid was staring at my daughter now, and they were both smiling. Oh my god, was he planning to use it on her? I was waiting for him to text me back, but minutes passed. Nothing. I knew I had to do something. He could start shooting at any second. But in that moment, that same girl from the front row stood up to hand in her test. She smiled and put it on my desk, but before she could walk away, I grabbed her hand. She could see the panic in my eyes, but before she could ask me what was wrong, I handed her a sticky note. It said, "Ask me to use the bathroom. Go to the assistant principal. Tell her to check her phone. Then leave the school immediately. Do not come back." I handed it to her and watched her read it. I tried to keep a calm look on my face, but she could see something was horribly wrong. Her eyes got wide, but she didn't say anything. She just looked at me, asked to use the bathroom, and walked out of the room. I watched her leave and felt a tiny bit of relief knowing she was out of there. But I still had 22 other kids sitting in this room with an armed student, and I had no idea if help was actually coming. Then someone knocked on our door. Everyone instantly looked over, and I could see the kids sitting there nervous. The assistant principal walked in and started talking to the students like nothing was wrong. Then he walked in front of that kid's desk. "Can you come out into the hall with me? Bring your backpack." But I saw him start to panic. "Why?" "I'm writing a test." His hand moved toward his bag, and I stopped breathing. But she quickly said, "Oh, don't worry. Your mom's here to pick you up early." He didn't believe her. I could see it in his eyes, but he didn't have a choice. He stood up with his hand on his bag, and I felt my heart racing as he walked by my daughter. He slowly walked towards the classroom door, but just before he left, he stopped. Then we all saw that in one motion, he swung his backpack off his shoulder. He started unzipping it, and everyone in the room froze. I screamed, "No!" He pulled out the gun and spun around, aiming it directly at my daughter. "No, don't!" He was about to shoot my daughter, and I tried to dive in front of her to block the shot. Everyone was screaming, and I saw people running inside from the hallway, and watched in slow motion as this kid pulled the trigger. I was ready to take a bullet right to the spleen, but after I hit the ground, weirdly, I felt nothing. The gun didn't go off, and we saw the SWAT team tackle him, slamming him into the tiles. Turns out the idiot didn't turn the safety off, and the SWAT team was waiting outside the whole time.